My name's Danny Tarkanian, and I'm running for Congress in the Nevada 3rd District. It's a pleasure for me to be here today. And the reason why it's such a pleasure is for us candidates, we get out and we try to meet as many people as we can to talk to them about the issues, the things that are important, the solutions that we think can make a better community and a better country. Little background about myself. My family and I moved to this community in 1973. We've seen some great times here. We had to go through some really difficult times too. This community has been great to my family. My father was a basketball coach here at UNLV, and with the support of this community, he was able to rise to the top of his profession, winning the national championship in 1990. My mother, who's been an educator her entire life, started a hard of hearing school in Southern California, which is the largest private hard of hearing school in the country, in the state right now. But when she moved to Nevada, she's been on the school board for 12 years, and now she's on the City Council of Las Vegas. I've worked on different charities and nonprofits with my wife. I started the Tarkanian Basketball Academy, which teaches the young kids the life lessons you learn through playing sports. I've been involved with a nonprofit called Team Focus, which works with young boys that don't have a father, where we try to mentor them. Hope for Prisoners, where we work with people that are getting released from prison and trying to get them acclimated in our society. The next step I felt where I could do the most good was to go back to Washington, D.C. and try to bring back some common sense solutions to things that can help this community, help our country. Washington is dysfunctional. It's not getting things done. People fight, they argue. There's this last confirmation hearing is a perfect example of it. There's just so much hatred and dysfunction there. You need people to go back to Washington, D.C. that have the people skills to work across party lines and get things done. I've established that my entire life. I have an attorney degree by background, but as I mentioned, I do a lot of nonprofit work, and I do some real estate work. I'm fortunate enough to have married a wonderful lady that her name is Amy, and we had our 17th anniversary yesterday. And I have an older daughter, Lois, named after my mother. She's 15, two twins, 13, Ava and Ashley, and my little boy, who's 8 years old, I named after my father, Jerry. Issues in this race. I think most people in this community, they feeling good about the way the economy is going right now. I mean, you have to feel great about the economy. Lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. We're seeing higher wages now, the highest wages in the past 12 years. We've seen the lowest tax rate on small businesses in over 40 years. There are a lot of positive things. Gross domestic product, which is the growth of our economy, was at 4.2% the last quarter, and been at 3% President Trump's first entire year, when it was only 1.6% the average for the 8 years before that. So we got a lot of really good things going in the economy. I'm going to go back there and try to keep those things going. We need to have reasonable regulations, but we shouldn't have burdensome and unreasonable regulations that cost businesses, and small businesses take it the worst. Money, time, and opportunity. And that's what we're seeing now. We're getting back to reasonable regulations. We need a fair tax system. I don't believe the reform that was done in the last session was all that needs to be done. I think it helped get our economy spurring, moving forward with the business and corporate tax reduction, but we need to do more for the middle class tax breaks. I don't think it's fair that we have tax breaks for the powerful, wealthy, and influential, and we're sticking it to the middle class Americans to pay for all those things. So I believe very strongly in reforming our tax code. And that, getting back to sticking it to the hardworking middle-class Americans, that is why I'm against the Affordable Care Act, because of one reason and one reason only. And I think anybody who's paying for their own health insurance in this room would agree. It's not affordable for anybody who's paying for their own health insurance. My family and I, family is 6, we were paying, before the Affordable Care Act was passed, the Unaffordable Care Act, we paid $440 a month for our health insurance. We paid $1,000 deductible and $25 copay. Now we're paying $1,840 a month for a premium, $5,000 deductible, and $150 copay if you go see a specialist. My son, who had a stroke 2.5 years ago, has seen the specialist 8 times a year, so we're paying $150 just to walk through the door in addition to those premiums. It's not fair to the hardworking middle-class Americans who are paying for their health insurance. We need to go back to market-based principles where we work on creating more competition, allowing people to purchase insurance across state lines, creating other competition within the health insurance industry, like we have for LASIK and plastic surgery, where they don't just rely upon insurance completely, but you have people who understand. You have to post the cost of all the services that are being done, and you can pick and choose if you want to pay that doctor or go to another doctor. That's what makes our economy so great here in the United States, and that's what's missing in our health care system. It's a common sense principle, and it's unfortunate people don't want to discuss that in Washington, D.C. Education. for all of you that have young children, I know how important education is. My kids have had the opportunity to go through both the private school system and the public school system. My mother, as I mentioned, was on the Clark County School Board for 12 years. My sister Pam has taught in the school district for over 35 years now. My brother George teaches in the community college. I would love to have a great public school system, and in many areas we do, but unfortunately there's a lot of school systems that don't. My kids went to a school system that was failing them when they were in that system. I don't believe it's right to force people that are paying taxes, and every one of you in here that are paying property taxes, sales taxes, taxes to the federal government, you're paying taxes for your education for your kids. I believe every parent should have the right to use their tax dollars to determine where to educate their children and how best to educate the children. Private schools should not be just for the real wealthy. It should be for everybody, and they should be able to use their tax dollars to do that. With respect to the public school system, the failure in our public school system is we don't pay our teachers enough. There's not enough money going into the classroom and into to the kids in the schoolroom, too much on the administration process. Thank you.